it now. Can you check if it's going?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, so I'll tell you
Okay.
as soon as I see it. There's a little bit of a delay, so don't worry about that, because it does take a couple seconds for it to show up.
Thank you everyone for your patience. It looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but I think we're getting everything sorted and looks like we do have a quorum now. So Secretary Reyes, are we, is everything okay for us to go ahead and get started now?
Everything should be good now.
Okay. All right. Thank you all for your patience. Apologies for the technical difficulties. So as I mentioned, looks like we do have a quorum. And if folks are able, we'd love to have you on video, committee members. So we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 10:35. And Secretary Reyes, can we have a roll call, please?
Sorry, can you hear me?
We can now.
Okay, sorry about that. Santa Rosa Water,
Here.
City of Cotati, City of Rohnert Park, Sonoma Water,
Here.
City of Sebastopol.
Here.
All right, and can you also list out the staff and other members of the public that are present? And it looks like Cotati just joined as well. Great.
Staff present, Emma Walton, Jason Roberts, Janine Saragosa, Joe Schiavone, Kimberly Zunino, Lori Urbanic, Nick Harvey, Peter Martin, Sean McNeil, Tanya Mokovitz, members of the public, Vanessa Garrett.
And it looks like we also have Brenda Edelman on as a member of the public as well.
We also have, Brenda Alderman, sorry, I missed the top of the staff, Andrew Allen, Emma Walton as well.
All right, thank you. So item 2, are there any announcements?
Excuse me, I joined late. This is Craig Cotati. If I could just check in. Thank you.
Great, we got you, Craig.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So if no announcements, we'll go ahead and go to item 3, public comment. So we are now taking public comments on item 3. If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. If you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. And Secretary Reyes, do we have any live email or voicemail public comments?
We have none.
All right, thank you. So now we'll go on to item 4, new business. We have one item, 4.1, and this will be a review of the fiscal year 21-22 regional operations and maintenance, debt service, and capital project budget and allocations. And Deputy Director of Water Administration, Kimberly Zunino, will be making the presentation.
Good morning, everybody. Going to share my screen here. All right, is everybody able to see that? Perfect. Okay, so there has been no real changes to the presentation other than shortening it a little bit from the last time we were together a couple weeks ago. What I will, though, and what I have added is the amounts that people have let me know that they would like to apply from the refund reserve to the final amount. So we'll just go through the information that you have received previously one more time. So we'll go through again, just quickly, annual flows, our expenditures, the allocations, and then the final budget schedule. You can see here that these are the annual flows, which are the basis for the O&M for this year. Also, we discussed last time the budget drivers, so I'll go over these again one more time. The UV bond that we secured at the end of last year was very successful for us. And luckily we were able to bring what we expected our debt service to be down by quite a significant amount. So we were all expecting around $3 million a year of debt service to be added to what we currently are paying in debt service, but that only ended up being $2.1 million. We also discussed last time that because of the closure of the facility for biosolids, that we are now using LizTech to dispose of biosolids for us. And so that agreement, while it is increasing our professional services on a yearly basis right now, over the life of that agreement, we will be saving a significant amount, as well as the fact that we will be saving a significant amount for the large repairs that were going to be needed on that facility. O&M projects, we are seeing those increase, and that is based on the fact that we have not yet completed the replacement of the UV system, and there are some regulatory requirements that are going to require us to increase maintenance on those. And then finally, the CHP engines and generators that we discussed last time is ready for or need their 24,000 hour service. And so that is also included in that O&M project line item. Fund changes, the operations and maintenance for the entire regional system, we kept to 1.6% as an increase, even with those numbers that we discussed or those projects that we discussed on the last slide. And then debt service is obviously increasing based on the new secured bond. This just gives you the line items so you can see those operations and maintenance projects and the increase that is going on there. The professional services, which has that LizTech agreement included in that line item. And then, as we also have discussed previously, we have redistributed the internal overhead from the administration of the water department. And with the ability to move that around, we have had a significant decrease in that line item. Just an overall picture of the budget itself. For CIP, we're not going over projects today. We're just showing you the different categories in which the cash funded CIP will be spent this year. This slide we show every year to just identify where and what we will be distributing between the partners and what we will be allocating out. So you can see that our operating expenditures are listed on that first line item. The cash funding that we will be applying for CIP is listed there. And then that $31,000 is the increase to the O&M based on the increase to the operations and maintenance budget. We have to maintain a 15% operations and maintenance reserve based on policy. And so that's the increase that we need in order to cover that. You can see that we have removed down below the revenues that will come directly into the sub-regional fund, and then the total contribution that is going to be allocated to each of the partners outside of debt service. Sorry, I should mention that debt service doesn't get included in this slide. So here's the total allocation and what we will be bringing forward with your recommendation if you choose to make that. To the BPU and also to City Council. These are the total expenditures for O&M, the CIP contribution based on the distribution identified in our agreement, and then debt service, which is identified by when debt was incurred, and the repayment schedules. And then finally, we have discussed applying some of the refund reserve in order to bring down increases to the various partners. You can see here that we will be based on, oh, you know what? I put the wrong number in here. Sorry, Mary Grace, I didn't add your number in there. But your increase will be 0% because you have let me know that you guys will be applying the full 858 for your allocation. Katati has indicated they would like to apply 70,000. Sebastopol, I know that you have still to get some approvals that will go through your committees, but to keep yours as a 0% increase as well. And so these numbers, while I am waiting for all of you to finalize what you are sending or what you would like to apply as far as the refund reserve goes, this piece of it does not actually go to City Council. We're going to bring to City Council for the preliminary budget, just the expenditures. So you just need to confirm that these are the amounts that you would like to apply towards your allocation for this year. And then what will happen is we will figure out how the billing works for you guys based on what you have determined will be what you're going to apply. And then finally, we have the budget schedule. So we are with you today. We will also be meeting with you on the 1st. We will be meeting with the BPU on the 1st also to do our study session, which will include our local budgets as well, but we will be going over and requesting a recommendation on April 15th for this to move forward to City Council. And then on April 27th, we will be going to City Council to ask them for a preliminary approval so that we can notify all partners at the beginning of May of each partner's allocation. And then City Council meets on the 11th and 12th of May for their budget study sessions. And then City Council will consider adoption of the budget on June 22nd. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions. I will stop sharing my screen so all participants can be seen.
Are there any committee member comments or questions?
Kimberly, just a quick one. We're South Park. We are leaning towards using no fund balance for the rate increase and just passing that along, the 6% along.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Joe?
Kimberly, I was questioned by department staff when I presented the scenario of the refund reserve and the possibility of using Sebastopol's outstanding balance to offset any rate increase this year. Of course, they jumped right on it. They like that idea. But I was questioned about how Sebastopol was able to amass a $750,000 refund reserve. And I didn't have any answer to that. So if you can give me like a 5-year look back on what Sebastopol has paid and how that refund, how Sebastopol's refund reserve has built up, I would appreciate that.
Sure. Do you want me to just send that to you? So that slide actually shows you multiple years of how much Sebastopol is getting returned to them each year. The way the refund reserve works is that once there is a true up of the actual expenditures, so we base your expenditures each year when we budget off of a previous full year of actual flow. Then what happens is when that year's actual flow comes in, that budgeted year's actual flow comes in, they true up how much each partner was actually responsible for the O&M expenditures. Then we take whatever turn back we have, and that is applied to each one of the partners based on that. And so that's where the turn back comes in, and that's how that refund reserve is built up. And then previously it was determined that the partners were choosing for us to keep that money so that you could use it in years like this when people want to apply it in order to smooth rates, basically.
Yeah, I understand how the refund reserve builds up. The question was, has Sebastopol used it in the past?
Oh, I'll have to look back and see if you've used it in the past. There was one year when several partners did. And I will look back and see if that occurred. I think there's only been once or twice that it's actually been used by partners.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, just real quick, Kimberly, I did get one question on this, which was, is the 6% rate increase this year an anomaly? Are we expecting in the years to come similar rate increases, or do we see them dropping back down into the 4 to 6% range?
Well, debt service is the largest portion of that increase. And so that's going to be maintained. It's pretty stable throughout the repayment schedule. So unless we
Right.
incur more debt, that's where you're going to see it. The cash funding will increase it slightly, but we are continuing to try to keep O&M expenditures low.
So again, what do you have an anticipation? What's your anticipated future rate increases? Crystal ballish, I know.
Yeah, I'd probably just have to do some calculations on that.
Okay.
We're trying our hardest to keep those O&M expenditures down.
Right.
So we could kind of do the outlook based on that increase in the CIP cash funding and give you a percentage that kind of lands there.
Okay, and I guess maybe let me rephrase another way. Is the rate increase this year more of an anomaly because of the increased debt service cost?
Yes.
Okay, that's my answer. Thank you.
Yes.
I will add, though, as part of what we did this year to keep costs down, I just want to remind this committee that we've delayed some of our regulatory compliance. And so we have to start that in year 2 for some of those long-term studies that we have to do for the permit. And so that we are going to have probably a bit of a higher rate increase next year as well, just because of those new regulatory requirements. So
Okay.
I don't know that the 6% is going to be that out of the ordinary from that perspective. So just please keep that in mind.
Okay, thank you.
We'll hopefully have some decreases in the O&M projects, though, once the final replacement of the UV system comes in as well. Because that's a pretty big expenditure for us this year, keeping that system in a place where we can meet those requirements.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or feedback that we need to incorporate? I think we heard back from everyone on kind of where they're leaning. So you'll see this again in what, 3 days?
And sorry, I thought I updated that chart with Bernard Park's amount, but I will update that before I send this out to the whole group. And then I will also send it out to you like I normally do, the entire presentation.
All right. If no other comments or questions from the subcommittee, then I'll go ahead and open it up for any public comment. So we are now taking public comments on item 4.1. If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. If you are dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. And Secretary Reyes, do we have any live email or voicemail public comments on item 4.1?
We have none.
All right. Seeing no public comment and no other comment from this committee, this was our only item for today. So with that, then we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for your time, and we will see you on April 1st.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.